Still looking.
The surprisingly new Land Rover, the biggest news from Land Rover in years, and voted Best Compact Sport Utility Vehicle by Automobile Magazine.
Getting the opportunity to be in Jerry Maguire, that was a real thrill. Quite a few of us auditioned for parts.
Show me the money!
Show me the money.
Show me the money!
You complete me. You complete me. Help me help you.
Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? Let's go.
Who's coming with me?
There were a couple of performances that really surprised them.
You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
Back in New York for the early stretches of the second round, and for the first time, speaking of those that are back, George Seifert as head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And of course, with the 49ers, he became the fastest coach in NFL history to get to 100 wins. Won a Super Bowl in his first year as head coach, replacing a legend in Bill Walsh. Won another one in '94. George Seifert, he's back.
I was with a great organization. I was in a great situation, and it was, you know, a wonderful experience. I enjoyed it a great deal. And when I left, it was time for me to leave. It was time for me to leave San Francisco, and it was time for me really, in fact, to do what I did. But at the same time, I think that I'm too young at heart, or have too many things I'd like to do yet. I mean, it's, you know, there's people that would kill to have the freedom that I had. But at the same time, there was somewhat of a hollowness to it at times. And I wanted to be involved in something else other than self-gratification. And maybe in a way, this is a self-gratification, but I'm approaching it, you know, in a little bit different vein.
George Seifert is a gentleman, but beneath that visage, he's a fierce competitor. And now he gets a chance to make a pick. Let's go up to Gene Washington.
With the 34th pick overall, Carolina selects offensive tackle Chris Terry from Georgia.
Third Georgia player, Mel. And remember, they lost Blake Brockermeyer, so this is certainly a position of need.
Well, he's opposite Matt Stinchcomb at Georgia, former defensive lineman, Chris, who really developed. There is number 70. There against Leonard Little his junior year. And you're looking at a kid who made monumental progress in terms of technique and understanding of the position. You see that rugged approach that comes from playing on the defensive line. Big kid, not the wide base frame a lot of teams may be looking for. And, of course, he played right tackle opposite Stinchcomb, but made a lot of improvement during the latter stages of his career. Really solid bookends for Georgia. It was hard to determine at that point early in the season who was going to emerge. Stinchcomb, because he was a veteran, could play left or right tackle. Terry, because he was inexperienced, you pushed into the second. But in 2 or 3 years, I think a lot of people felt like, hey, Chris Terry may develop into a solid bookend at right tackle in the NFL.
Well, the Carolina Panthers, you know, just as their second year, got to the NFC Championship game, but really fell rock bottom last year. They had a great home field advantage at Ericsson Stadium, which went by the boards. They're 4-12, and so in a very short time, they're almost starting, I don't want to say from scratch, but for the second time around. And George Seifert's job, and he's a perfect guy for this, even though when he came into San Francisco, he won right away because he inherited a Super Bowl team. Joe, here's a team that George Seifert will give instant stability to, and they have to get an even keel before they got to walk before they can run. You agree?
Chris, I do agree, and I think you're a lot closer to right when you said they're almost like starting over, like a true expansion team again. Here's the comparison between Jacksonville and Carolina. You look at their records, 22 versus 11 wins, winning seasons, 2 versus none, division titles, and playoff appearances. When Jacksonville and Carolina came in, Jacksonville said, we're going to go with the younger players. We're going to build that way. And that's been a very successful program for them. Carolina said, we want to get a little bit older players. We want to go the veteran route. Well, what happened? The veterans played very well for 1 year, and then all of a sudden, that whole team got old in a hurry. So in essence, this team, they let the wide receivers go because they wanted to get some faster wide receivers. They had to bring them back. Their running back situation has been up in the air. The offensive line has been just a turnstile move with people coming in, people coming back. It's a good place to start to build, again, your football team by starting on the offensive line. And I think it'll work out fairly well for them. But it is right. Chris, you're absolutely right. They really have just about started over again.
Well, they have, although, you know, offensively, they moved with late in the year with Berline, a quarterback. Once they got that situation figured out, they acquired Jeff Lewis, a youngster from Denver, and they have Steve, I got you, Babe Bono, George Seifert's old backup quarterback with San Francisco, so he is there as well. So they have some people that know what they are doing. Let's go around the league, and we are tied to the whip around. Let's start with Sal Paolantonio.
Here in Cleveland, it didn't take Tim Couch, the #1 pick, long to go up to the Cleveland War Room and lobby for a wide receiver. Here he is talking to Chris Palmer and Dwight Clark and saying, hey, guys, get off the defense. Let's get a wide receiver in here. In the second round, they go for Kevin Johnson, the wide receiver out of Syracuse. I just talked to Chris Palmer, and he says in his next pick in the second round, they're looking for defense. If they don't get quality on defensive side of the ball, they may go offense, maybe a running back, maybe another wide receiver. Now let's go to Sean Salisbury.
In Indianapolis, the Colts pass on Ricky Williams. Take the Miami Hurricane running back Edgerrin James, love his versatility, say he's got magic. As they prepare to make their second-round choice, look for them to go secondary or linebacker. Gave up too many leads in the second half last year. They need defense. Now to Andrea Kramer.
Here in Minnesota, it is D-Day, as in Dante and Demetrius. With their 2 picks in the first round, the Minnesota Vikings at number 11 took the quarterback Culpepper from Central Florida, and at number 29 took the huge defensive end Demetrius Underwood from Michigan State. 6'6", 280, Denny Green loves that size and explosiveness. Later on in the second round, they hope to shore up their cornerback position. Now let's head to Ed Werder.
Well, here in New Orleans, it'll be interesting to see what the fallout is from the only one-player draft in recent memory, if not NFL history. General Manager Bill Kuharich said the team will be very aggressive, making sure that Ricky Williams isn't the only rookie in his class. They'll be out going after any players who are undrafted, who are high on the Saints board remaining out there. And in addition to that, they will get some more players, possibly getting back in the draft, Kuharich says, but probably not until tomorrow. Now let's go to Solomon Wilcott.
In Foxborough, with 2 picks in the first round, the Patriots go Damian Woody at center and the Big Cat linebacker Andy Katzenmoyer. Here you see inside the War Room, head coach Pete Carroll lobbying for more speed on defense. He gets it with Katzenmoyer with the 28th pick. Look for the Patriots to address their need for a running back here in the second round. Now let's go out to Hank Goldberg.
The Dolphins came into this draft looking to upgrade the running back position. They couldn't trade up to get Edgerrin James. They did their second priority, which was to get an extra pick in the second round by trading out of the 24th spot and subsequently the 27th spot. So now with 3 picks to go, no running back has been chosen since the Dolphins traded out of number 24. So far, it's breaking their way. Let's go to Tom Jackson.
With the final pick of the first round, the Denver Broncos took linebacker Al Wilson from Tennessee, projects as an outside backer for the Broncos. Now they have 2 picks apiece in the next 2 rounds. Look for them to field some calls, make some deals. The possibility of the Broncos trying to move up again for Coach Shanahan to continue to refortify that defense with some more speed and some youth. Mortimer, your thoughts in New York?
My thoughts, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and new head coach Andy Reid. He took a quarterback in the first round and Donovan McNabb. In the second round, he just took what he thinks will be the quarterback of his defense, Barry Gardner, an inside linebacker from Northwestern. Andy Reid wants smart guys. He wants character guys. This guy, Gardner, scored a 35, very impressive 35 on the Wonderlic test. This is Andy Reid's type of guy, quarterback on each side of the football, leader on and off the field. Chris?
Mort, thank you. The second round rolls on. When we come back, a visit with the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue. Second round coverage on ESPN. Stick around.
Stay with Cox 9 all season to follow your Phoenix Suns. Watch Jason Kidd lead the rest of Danny Ainge's team toward the playoffs. Tune in this Wednesday as the defending Western Conference champion Utah Jazz come to Phoenix. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jason Kidd, and Tom Gugliotta. Suns Live tips off at 6:30. The Suns and Jazz square off at 7. The Phoenix Suns host the Utah Jazz Wednesday night, exclusively on Cox 9.
It takes a revolution to make a solution.